Hey there, you're live.
Hi there, everybody. Thanks very much for being with us on our open book. We will bring in our distinguished guest, Jonathan Galassi, in just a second, if I can figure out how to do it. How do I do it?
So look for him.
No, he was there, and now.
Okay.
Hi there, Lori Tierney. Hi there, T.E. I'm really looking forward to this. Hi there, Mr.
Well,
Dickens.
Let me go on this side. Hold on.
Yeah. Sorry about this. By the way, like the espresso cup? Don't say end.
Do we go here?
Hmm.
And then, so you're going to want to type in at Jonathan Galassi.
Whoops.
Just do Jonathan. No? And then keep going down.
This must be exciting programming.
We apologize.
Jonathan Haight, Jonathan Larson.
Keep going, keep going.
Jonathan Capehart.
No, he's not.
Friend of ours. Maybe he's under a different name.
No, that's how he, okay.
Wasn't it under EU something?
No, that's his email. Okay, so we're going to try it again.
Let's try Galassi.
Yeah, try Galassi.
Oh, Galassi is a more common name than I thought it was. Oh, Jonathan Galassi, there.
Nothing common about our guest. Did you invite him? Yes. Invite co-host. We should be ready to launch in a moment.
Sorry about this delay, but it's fascinating, isn't it? We obviously are going to be speaking with Jonathan Galassi about his wonderful new book, The Vineyard, Poems.
And if this doesn't work, we'll just relaunch and start again.
Yeah, exactly. That's lovely flowers. Yeah. Those are, what do you call them? Orchids, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See?
Okay, so
we're going to be talking about nature. Hi there, Jonathan. How are you?
What a great privilege to meet you. I know your voice so well.
Well, this is actually how I talk. They throw a switch on the that brings it down.
What a beautiful background behind you.
Yeah, it is a beautiful background. It
Welcome to Open Book.
Yours.
Oh,
welcome to Open Book.
Do you have a copy of your wonderful book with you?
I do have one. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to begin by asking you to read a bit from it. Is that all right?
Sure.
We will explain. Let me introduce Jonathan now that we have him by saying, as many of you who follow us know, I love poetry, but I am indifferent to nature. Some people would even say I loathe nature, with the exception of jalapenos. I mean, I'm a Chicago guy. I think nature is fine in its place, and its place is outdoors. Woo! But it shows you the esteem I have for tonight's guest, that I have enjoyed reading an entire book that is mostly about nature. And nature and humans getting along together, and being sturdy together. And of course, Jonathan Galassi is a, I hate to use the word icon, but he is an icon of the publishing industry, the longtime head of Farrar, Straus and Giroux. And we're going to ask him a little bit. I'm going to finally get an anecdote nailed down. So thank you for joining us. And could I ask you, page 12?
Yes.
The section that begins, there are 5 trees in front of me.
Okay.
And if you could read to the next page, to that heart-stopping line where you say they're natural 200 years, the way I hope to live out mine.
Okay. Thank you. There are 5 trees in front of me as I sit at my desk this morning. The mulberry, its spindly sticks still barren, and just behind a hemlock, 2 in fact, combining into one, yin and yang, the way trees sometimes do. Then the golden cedar, the one whose branch I hacked, and in Suzanne's front yard, a broad umbrella pine that sambas in the vivid wind, and a perfect common sugar maple, my tea, my consigliere, and the other time-worn ragged maple this side of the fence, next to the 8 forsythias which Dave planted for our privacy, eventually to be one hedge with the butterfly bush that horned in between, and the spirea volunteering over the fence. The late-blooming cherry-red crepe myrtle we planted nearer to the house is still leaf-form, but now the mulberry explodes into lime-green flame, and the little lovely fruits that silkworms love will darken soon and fall sticky and stinky on the tarmac. Then the crepe myrtle will start sending out the red needles where its bowls of blossom will eventually grow. Will these trees be able to live out their natural 200 years the way I hope to live out mine?
Boy, I found that heart-stopping. And I have to ask, the more we go on in life, the more do we feel a kind of kinship with the natural cycle of life?
I think so. I think that those trees, they feel like my cousins somehow. They get to live longer than we do, but yes, I love them.
Yeah. We should explain these are 3 poems actually set in a fictional Long Island village of Oyster Ponds. Who are you kidding? That's Oyster Bay, right?
No, it's not Oyster Bay. Oyster Bay is up island. No, it's really, there's a town called Orient on the north
Right.
of Long Island that bears a strong resemblance.
All right. So all I know is, like watching that TV series that was set there, and I think I've done a couple of stories in Long Island over the years, but it's kind of a novel of a poem. Would that be fair to say?
It has a narrative. Yeah, it tells a story about the seasons. It tells my story. It tells the story of the town. Many different interweaving stories.
Yeah. When do you write your poems? A
Well,
real Paris Review question, I know.
no special time. I wrote this this is really a COVID project. It began
Yeah.
in 2020 when we were spending an awful lot of time out there. And it's something I do when I'm not doing other things. And I don't sit down at 7 o'clock every morning and write poetry the way maybe I should, but I don't. It's much more, it happens when it happens.
Yeah. We have some questions that are coming in, which we will begin to share. One I notice is, do you write poems or does the poetry write itself?
Oh, it doesn't write itself, but it goes where it wants to go. I start it, and then things happen that either they don't feel right, or I end up saying something I never knew I was going to say. But it's all, it's all one project, but it's sort of, it started out as pieces. Then it got cut back. It's like nature. It got cut back and it grew back, and it eventually gelled the way you see it today.
Help us understand that feeling about when you say it goes somewhere I didn't, or it says something I didn't think I would say. I mean, I suffer from having written some novels myself, but often when I interview novelists and they tell me where the characters just went that way, there's a part of me that wants to say, well, you should see someone about that, because
what I mean is that you start out about writing about the trees, and then you're right, and pretty soon you're writing about the neighbor whose trees it is.
Yeah.
Or the boat that you see riding over the tops of the trees on the road that you can't see. So that, memory and perception and push their way in and tell you what you're meant to say, try to say.
Another question.
Well, it's a comment from Mark Kemble. He says, a neighbor's vine volunteers profusely all over our garden shed every August. Thank you for modifying my thinking of that activity.
Yes, volunteering can be positive or negative, but plants have their own ideas about what they should be doing.
Yeah, and that's a good cue to take. I there are several sections of this poem where you give voice to, and I'm going to quote your own words to you now. Everything that's on my conscience, those I didn't love or loved in error, those I hurt. Did
It's
you expect the poem to bring you into that kind of pain?
well, I don't. I didn't expect it, but it's a poem about the garden and the place, but it's also a poem about the person who's observing these things and observing their inner feelings too. So it's autobiographical as well as um, top topographic. Uh, and if you want to write, it's 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 a sort of compendium of everything, and you can't leave out things. Well, you can. I mean, we don't
Mhm.
leave out things, but I found that I felt better about what I was doing if I could be as honest as I tried to be.
Yeah. Another.
A question from Michael Dickens. Do you always carry a notebook or journal so you can write down your poetic thoughts as you go about the day?
I don't, but you know what I really wish I did do is I wish I had a notepad by my bed so that if I thought of something at night, I would write it down, but I don't do that. And then I regret it sometimes.
Forgive me, Jonathan. We'll send you one. I mean, notebooks abound.
I have a whole drawer full of notebooks. It's just, I'm not that organized.
Uh, can I ask you a question about probably your career as a publisher?
Sure.
There's always a story I wanted to nail down, and we should explain you were responsible for finding and cultivating great talents, including Pat Conroy and Sexton. Um, I Scott Turow is a friend of ours. I am told that the history of literature is different because you once went on jury duty.
Oh, because of Scott?
Yes.
Uh, well, I don't know, but I do know my father was a lawyer, so I was very intrigued by his. And the first book he sent me was a novel that he didn't end up publishing, but we really had a great conversation. And um, after that, he was working on a book that turned out to be Presumed Innocent. We really hit it off and had a ball working on that and many other books.
Okay, because the story I'd heard is you went on jury duty and picked up that manuscript and go, "Hey, this is."
No, I don't think so. But I do remember reading it and just thinking, oh, this is so darn good. If the judge did it, I can't publish the book.
uh,
A question from Diana Lynch. What will typically inspire you? A word, a picture, something you see around you?
Well, all those things, I think. Anything like they're parts of this poem. There's one part that's about a cake plate that's on
mhm.
the wall, and the trees that we just talked about, or even or words too, names. A lot of there's a lot of talk about the names of plants, the Latin names or the vernacular names, and those things have resonances too. Words, poets love words.
Mm. Um, I keep getting drawn back to the parts in the poem where you seem to remind us there's a natural cycle of blooming and if I may dying. Um, is that a theme that means more to you?
I think it
That
means more to me as I age,
yeah.
and when you're in a garden and you're watching things die and thrive, and
Yeah.
and when you do it year after year, and you see how they keep doing it or not. All these things bear on what happens. And also at our age, I'm older than you, but our friends start disappearing too.
Yeah.
And so I think gardens are about all that. You know, they're a way of coping with reality, the personal reality of death. And
Yeah. We have another.
We have a question from Paul Drexler. Can you discuss how poetry can sharpen our sense of prose?
well, I think that the thing about poetry is it's the words themselves are all important. And with prose, sometimes I think there's certain kinds of prose, especially where people are getting through it to the information or to the payoff. Whereas, and there's a lot of prose where the words are very, very significant, and you're expected hope. It's hope that you will react not just subconsciously but consciously.
Yeah.
But I think in poetry, that's really what's going on the first level. So I don't know. I think that's true.
And I meant to ask this earlier. You have a character named Dr. No. Um,
Well, that wasn't his real name, of course. You see,
I understand that. Yeah, no, I understand that.
that's why I call this place Oyster Ponds. I want some deniability.
Okay, yeah. Well, my question was, does Dr. No know who he is?
Dr. No
He
is
passed away.
he dies, and
Well, but I mean, that's what I'm asking because it's a novel. Yeah.
no, Dr. No. I mean, it's a James Bond reference, right? For
Yeah,
me.
right.
And he was Dr. No because he was so difficult, you know.
Yeah. And I want to ask you what it's like to live next door to a vineyard.
It's the best thing when you get the joy of it, but none of the work.
Yeah, exactly. This is a small
we have a family interest in a vineyard. And
where
you know what? It might as well be tobacco. It's agriculture. There's nothing faintly romantic about it. But
where is that?
In Sonoma.
Uh-huh. Okay, well that's fabulous. But this man, Dr. No, has had he put in this vineyard 30 years ago as his own project, his own, you know, he did it for fun. He did it, and I get to live beside the beauty of it without having to deal with it. His daughter, who lives in California, is now maintaining this vineyard very wonderfully. But yes, if you're doing it, for a living or doing it for commercial, so it's a different kind of thing. But I bet, Scott, your wine is better than the wine that this vineyard.
oh well,
Well, but
we wouldn't know.
you never got to taste it, right? You never.
Yeah.
you never
I did eventually taste it, and I'm not going to talk about that.
That's very very safe and much. What can a poem do? I remember a few weeks ago we were interviewing a poet who said, you can say everything in prose, but at a wedding ceremony you want to read a poem. What can a poem do you think?
Well, I think that a poem in a wedding in that kind of I've tried that a few times. It it pulls emotion to some sort of point of resolution, and I think it's we go to poems if if you want to know what some point in history was like. In a way, you go to the poetry of that moment to get a kind of distillation of something that I think poetry is very, very, it has truth in it that way, in a form that you can remember,
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it was kind of warm up and down the East Coast. Did you do any gardening today?
Well, today I ruptured my Achilles tendon a few weeks ago. So I am sitting in my desk with a little knee scooter, uh, going around my apartment. I don't go out at the moment, but
Okay.
also our garden, I'm only involved with it from April through October in the growing season. So I would have, if I'd been there, I would have, although there's still a lot of snow there.
Yeah.
Uh, I would have liked to. I've certainly felt the air, but you don't like gardening, so
But I no, I don't. But my wife,
I actually slipped him that question.
does that mean you were out today?
No, but
we
thinking
are in
about
an
it.
apartment that has a balcony,
Yes.
and my wife has our balcony. It looks like a meadow in
Uh-huh.
Brittany.
Uh-huh.
I
When
have
she
a lot of the same taste in flowers that you do. I love Japanese anemones, the salvias, the Mexican sunflowers.
Yeah, well, you do have the same taste.
The only disagreement I have is with the locust tree.
Oh, but the locust tree is nothing. That was there, and some people call them invasives. They're big weeds in the eyes of some people, but they make they give a shape to our place. So
Yes, and you see their beauty.
yes, I do see their beauty.
my wife is the ranch manager of the place in Sonoma, and she is able to. I mean, I have no idea what she's talking about most of the time, but she's very devoted to it,
But
and I'm very proud of her.
Do you have roses at the ends of your rows?
no, it's more of it's not such a well-kept vineyard. But we have a lot of wild chamomile growing in it and mint. It's very nice.
What
But
makes the chamomile wild as opposed to
we
like
didn't
the stuff
plant
in
it.
the bag? Oh, okay, all right. You see
It
the level.
volunteered. It
Yes.
volunteered there.
Yeah, I envy her expertise. What can I? Well, envy. I admire your expertise. I don't envy it for a moment, but I I treasure our moments out of there, particularly when I can go into Calistoga and or go to someplace faintly urban. That's when I
Find a bookstore.
yes, as a matter of fact, exactly. That's yeah. That's a great one there. Look, it is a measure of the fact that this is such a wonderful book that I enjoyed it. The Vineyard, a poem by Jonathan Galassi. Uh,
It's lovely. We so enjoyed it.
we really did.
Thank you so much. Thank
Just
you.
beautifully done. And so we're very glad to be with you tonight on our open book. We have some other stuff coming up this week where we will talk to other important people. Well, those a particular set of distinction
And
with Jonathan.
and may I say it's a beautiful cover.
Thank you. That was my husband took that picture. That's the arbor in back of our house. So the turkeys come and eat the grapes.
See, I told you they
Oh,
look
that
great, darling, didn't I?
it's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wild and malicious turkeys, I think, is what they are. But well, so thanks very much, everybody, for joining
You.
on our
Thank
open
you so
book.
much. It was
See you
nice to talk to you.
Have a good night. Good luck with
Bye.
the ACL. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.